Yeah. So I have a condition, a form of short stature, but I just got like a massive cock, which is really annoying. People are gonna value us differently.
Yeah.
People are gonna treat us like $2. People are gonna treat us like $50. Some people are gonna treat us like $5 million.
I don't think the human brain can actually comprehend what the meaning of life is.
But I think
unless it comes personally. Like, what is the meaning of my life compared to what is the meaning of life?
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Takin It Easy podcast. Alongside me, I have my co-host, Rowan Callahan.
Yours truly.
The special guest, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Isaac Natoli, right next to me right now.
Welcome, Isaac.
Absolute
Thank you very much.
privilege.
Yeah, man.
Honored to be here, boys.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's first episode out, second episode
Yeah, this will be
thing.
the second episode we're filming, but the first episode you guys are going to see. So
That's
you should
right.
be seeing this on the 20th of June. If not, I mean, who cares, because you're seeing it then. But it's great seeing Isaac here, and I feel like we've got a lot of good stories to share, but just a lot of good topics to talk about in general.
Definitely.
Yeah, first things first, Isaac. Do you want to show off the little man bun?
Show off the manion.
Dude, slowly becoming more and more just
Yeah, he's trying to, what is it, Master Igu?
Master Uguay.
Master Uguay, that's it, Master Uguay, that
Does
shit.
he have a man bun?
I think so. Yeah, I think
Also,
he does.
where's the fucking turtle?
Or was it a moustache?
No, that's
he
shiitake.
carried that stick. Remember that he carried that.
Yeah,
that
that's
stick
right.
over.
Like
Were
that
we
monkey
talking
from...
about this?
Yeah, like the other week at the train
I'm getting
station.
deja vu right now.
Yeah, I was just because Isaac is such a grounded guy, and he comes across so wise that he just reminds me of Master Uguay.
Yeah, I get that same feel though.
Yeah.
But so Isaac, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, let's go back to. I mean, obviously, people wondering might be like, what condition does he have, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're 4'6", but we've seen that like you can be extremely dedicated in the gym. Like you went through this stage of being Australia's smallest bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You were absolutely fucking jacked at one point, but then we had the hip replacement and stuff as well. Let's go back to the start though. When you were younger, how was it like growing up with a condition? Obviously, as you became older, becoming more aware of how people around you see you and stuff like that. How did you deal with that?
Yeah. So I have a condition, a form of short stature. So I basically, my cartilage grew because I stopped growing now, unfortunately. My cartilage grows really slow, so I just grew slowly. But I just got like a massive cock, which is really annoying.
Dude, it's the hands on the cock that don't fucking change.
I'm serious though, like I don't know what.
Have you got a bigger hand than me?
Oh, I bet I do. Like, honestly,
Yeah, I'm gonna be
$10 that I have a bigger hand than you.
$10 down the drain. He didn't want to do that one with me though, didn't he?
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Mate, I mean, we're pretty. Dude, this man's. No, this dude's some Hulk shit out here, man. God damn. Yeah. So.
Big cock,
big hands. But it's So I have kind of this condition, which is it's a tongue twister, but you could just call it SAD or some shit like that. Spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
real...
damn, that's a tongue twister and a
That
half.
is a real mouthful.
Now say it backwards.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. I'm all good. Yeah, no, that's good with me. So, as a kid, how did that kind of affect you growing up? Or were you kind of like the same as all the other kids while you were growing up? Like out there, energetic, sporty?
Yeah. So honestly, like it's funny because a lot of people expect me to have had a challenging childhood. And to be honest, I was blessed. I was fortunate to have had pretty good, growing up.
Yeah.
Great friends, family supported me. I think it was as well just growing up, I never was treated differently.
Yeah.
So like, just my programming as a child was that I'm just no different.
Yeah.
So taking that on, my perception that I just was not different to anyone else. I think the energy that I put out to me not feeling different, just people would feel the same. People would feel relaxed and be like, oh, you know, he's just a normal guy. Yeah. Obviously, stares, I would get I still, I'm going to have for my whole life. And, you know, when I meet people for the first time, it was the most challenging for me as a child. But I never really had an issue fitting in. Okay. And, you know, it was just like initial, like people would laugh, people would stare, say comments. There's some really funny stories as well that I've had. I mean, the first one that kind of pops into my mind is like, kids would genuinely think that I was like born the size of a jelly bean. So like they would like genuinely, they genuinely, I mean, this is like, we're going like fucking 4 years old, maybe 5.
Oh my God.
6. Anyway,
how could a 6-year-old think that? Like what?
So, like I got some crazy shit. Some kid thought I was a frog. I don't know why. That's just really random.
Fuck, dude.
So I'm like an
You seem pretty thick-skinned though. Like, I gotta admit, like you really kind of put yourself out there as a kid. Like you played soccer at a fairly high level, and you were doing a lot of that, and you also were competing in was it the something
athletics. So I did athletics for people with a disability. Yeah. So basically like Paralympics.
That was fucking easy for you, right? Like you didn't train or shit.
Well, I try to keep it humble, but I won
everything.
Someone else has to say it, not me. But basically, I didn't train. I just somehow. I don't know how, but I did that. Yeah. And won that. So. Left my legacy there. I hope someone's broken my record because I feel genuinely unworthy to be holding like national records and shit without having any training. Do you know what records
you broke? Like, was it?
It was just like under 12s, under 11s, national Australian 100-meter sprinter record.
Yeah, but even then, like that's pretty impressive to have a national record. You know?
A record. Like, I mean, obviously, like you're probably more well off than other people competing. But still, to like hold that against your name is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What was it like competing in those games as a kid in those athletic events? Like seeing the diversity of who you're going up against. Like, was that?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Yeah, it was interesting because I never really was like I guess exposed to people with a disability because I just always thought of myself as just quote unquote normal, and I never really went to like short stature events and disability communities, stuff like that. So I guess when I started to compete with people with a disability, it was a bit like it was good and it was bad because it was like, oh, okay, well, I'm part of these people who are different. But it also opened my mind to the fact that, of course, like how grateful I am to be in my shoes because. I mean, people face a whole range of things, but I mean, I guess whatever body you live in is just the norm for you. So it's like just the norm. But it was kind of fascinating because that was really the first time that I started to see people who also had disabilities and also had like similar conditions to myself. So that was good, but that did happen at a later point in my life. So it was a bit to kind of take in that I was like different.
So like growing up, I know that you said that like everything was normal. You thought that you were normal. When was it like a realization period where you were like this is different for me? I am different to everyone.
High school.
Was that going into primary
or,
school, high school? Like, what were those experiences like?
Yeah, man, I'd say that it was definitely high school. And just I think the hormonal change, just, hitting puberty and fucking, like...
Testosterone.
Yeah, that's all we need to say. Testosterone.
That's
yeah, and I think realizing like, shit, like, I can't get girls, or like, oh shit, like, I'm being treated differently. Oh, like, I'm going to parties now, and I'm not I'm getting a different sort of validation from people. So I think I just always fit in primary school. And then I got to high school, but I mean, I did find my group quite easily. But I mean, in terms of like people outside of my group of friends, it was a challenge because the type of validation that I was getting was, shit, like, especially from girls, like, oh, he's so cute. People wanted to take photos with me, all this shit. Like, it was difficult because I just wanted to be normal.
For sure.
And
most kids do at that age. Like, especially high school, you just want to fit in with the other kids. There's always somebody who you want to be like, especially.
Oh, exactly.
In those teenage years.
No, like, we've all had those experiences where you're just trying to find.
But yours is definitely more out there. I mean, like, you would have been hearing that a lot, and you probably would have just been like, "Fuck, just stop." Like, honestly,
so like,
not like they were obviously like, they weren't like bullying you or anything, but it's also like, well, you don't want to hear that. You want to be like everyone else, going out to parties, talking to girls and stuff like that. And
like, what kind of effect did that have, like, on your mental health, like going through high school? Because like, high school can be pretty traumatic for a lot of people because they need to be a certain way to fit in. But like, for you, how did that affect your mental health? Either if it was with girls or with sport or with all these other different aspects that high school encompasses.
Yeah, bro. I think it just it more so. I think I had to merge my identity into someone who wasn't me in order for me to feel better mentally, if that makes sense.
So like, kind of like getting validation from other people in a way.
Like, I became a bit of like, I mean, what we call in like Sydney or Australia, like a bit of an esche. So like, I would try to compensate for this lack that I was feeling and this insecurity that I was feeling, to try back it up with some other form. So like, my identity kind of shifted towards trying to be like the coolest of cool kids, and to say that, oh well, I'm actually too good for girls, I'm too good for everyone. And so that allowed me to feel better mentally, because I then had this, I felt like I was
empowered,
better than, and it was just arrogant. So like, this arrogance kind of, I don't know, like, cornered me in a room, but it made me feel safe. Right? So
Did you know deep down that wasn't your true identity? You were just trying to,
like, putting on a facade.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, we go through so many different phases in high school. So I'd say up to about year 9, I thought that was me. Like, I just was, that was just my identity. And then year 10, I think you hit like, dude, I feel like you hit puberty like 5 times in high school. Like, seriously, bro. Like, you go through, I mean, really we are always evolving in our lives. Our identity is constantly changing. We're never gonna have one set identity. But I think year 10 I started to kind of wake up a bit. I was like, oh yeah, this isn't who I am. And I really still am finding myself to this day who I am. But I'm definitely getting closer to tapping into that authentic self. But it's taken a while, and I've gone through not just being an Eshe stage, but heaps of other stages to where I am now. So
you've reached this point where you're satisfied with yourself, would you say? Where you are right now, do you still think there's a lot to work on and progress? That makes sense.
I think there always is till the day I die.
You think we're just like students of life? That makes sense.
100%, man, 100%. But I mean, I'm definitely more at peace with who I am now. And to be honest, like, I think my insecurity of being a short guy probably hit its peak after high school. It started in high school, but it hit its peak after high school, entering the real world. And that's so I'm definitely I'm more satisfied, and I'm more at peace with who I am. And that's just a constant journey that I'm on. But yeah, man, it's just really just self-love at the end of the day.
Beautiful, man.
So would you say, looking back, that everything that's happened through primary school and high school, that these experiences that you've gone through and different people you've met have you've used that as motivation for your life and things that you want to do, would you say, in a way? Like with your gym stuff, I know that just absolute animal, holy shit.
Yeah, for real. So you went through a real phase. And like that, would you say that was a phase of your life? Okay, let's go back to the start. What led you to go to the gym? What led you to work on yourself? We'll get some pictures up on the video.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll show, Isaac is fucking ripped, dude.
Absolute animal.
Dude, what was your highest you were weighing? You're probably close to me, man. I'm actually not even joking. I genuinely think he is.
Damn, dude. I think I was pushing the 90 kilo mark at one stage.
90 kilos, dude.
But without the dong, it was probably 49, 48.
Were you lifting with the dong? Or
I mean,
give it a name?
Oh shit!
Godzilla.
4 foot 6 feet down below. It's just two Isaacs.
I think we've all thought of
Isaac him, and then there's the 45 kilo dong.
I think we've all thought of a name for our cock. No.
Is it true? Is it true that dwarfs / smaller people have big cocks?
Excellent.
Look at how we've progressed here.
I mean,
you don't have to go into detail.
I think I need
just because you said it before.
I think I need to make this a community of dwarf penises and see if it is true. I personally actually haven't seen another dwarf's penis.
You have nothing to compare to. I don't suggest looking it up either. Yeah. I haven't. I don't know, but you've been to. No, don't.
The eyes say it all, boys. I already know what's.
Oh god.
Yeah, but we'll get another dwarf on the show and we'll flop it out and see if it's true.
That's class, dude.
Imagine that'd be.
Dude, how is this conversation segued? Let's go.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go back to.
Let's take a step back for a second.
Was it about year 10 where you said, okay, I'm gonna go to the gym? I know, obviously you were friends with people who were probably going through the same stage where they were just wanted to get fucking jacked.
Yeah.
And you were like, I want to be like them, or you like, I want to receive validation from myself or from girls? What was it like? What was the main starter, the reason why you wanted to go to the gym?
I think it was two main reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically to feel better about myself. I was realizing that I was feeling better about myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, secondly, girls as well. Like when you're in year 10 and you see some fit chick, dude, you're just like, I want that. I want that. I want that. And dude, you're like, I was freaking getting the 4-inch biceps out and being like, oh yeah, man,
Yeah.
she wants this. She wants this. So it was mainly that. It was mainly those reasons to hopefully get girls by looking better.
Yeah.
But also feeling better about myself. But really underlying all that was to fill a void in myself.
Was it like insecurity?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. But I genuinely felt good because I
haven't met a person who's come back out of the gym and felt like shit.
Yeah,
it's just impossible. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're working on yourself, and I feel like being in a gym environment. Have you noticed that, like, when you first started, did you get a lot of help from other people? Because I feel like the gym environment is no matter if you're a fucking bodybuilder or if you're a little scrawny CUNT, I feel like everyone's there and everyone has a common goal, right? To work on themselves.
Yeah.
Did you find that the gym was that kind of environment, as in it was like a safe haven for you?
Because like even at the gym, like a lot of people who start going to the gym feel very judged from other people. But
in reality, I think that's very rarely the case. I mean, from what I've seen throughout the gym, I'm by all means, like, I've struggled with putting on weight and stuff like that. And I obviously want to try get bigger in the gym, but I've never felt judged at all in the gym because everyone in there, despite however they look, has the goal of working on them. Yeah. And at the end of the day, of course, they might want to receive validation from other people, but you feel better about yourself by going to the gym. I feel like that's... And
so, like, do you reckon you'd say you got addicted to the grind, addicted to the gym at any point?
Yeah, addicted to the grind. 100%.
How often were you going?
Dude, probably like 5 times a week was probably like my peak. Maybe 6 times. That was like when I was super into it. But the gym is perceived differently for everyone. Like, as you say, you can feel judged. And gyms can have ego-driven people in there, but it really depends on where you're at mentally. Like, I know the feeling of walking into a new gym and feel like all the eyes are on me, when in reality it's not. It's just your own mind, and then that'll kind of be an excuse to not go to the gym. And I mean, the more you go to the gym, the more you realize that people are genuinely all there for a common reason, is to get better and improve themselves physically and mentally as well. But for me, my time in the gym was realistically ego-driven. To feel better than other people, to then feel better about myself.
I feel like a lot of the time it does start that way. It starts being pretty ego-driven.
But then
it
especially when you're in year 10.
For sure. Yeah. But it probably turned out to be a real kind of like, I don't know, it would have helped your mental clarity a lot, I feel. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah. I'd say so.
Was it like you'd have a shit day and you'd fucking, get a pump and feel great? Or was it like, I don't know, it was always, I'm just here to look better physically?
Yeah, it was just like I get a pump, look at my biceps, and then I feel better. And then I walk out. and that was it.
Yeah.
It was that, like, I think that's the main reason why I mean, just to give people some context, like I started off my kind of social media career as in the fitness niche. So I was Australia's smallest
we mentioned
bodybuilder.
this, but Isaac's a YouTuber as well.
Yeah.
Fucking great one at that as well. But yeah, obviously continue. You've started with that.
Yeah. So I started with being Australia's smallest bodybuilder and dabbling in the fitness niche, and I spent probably about 1.5 to 2 years posting on Instagram and starting to post on YouTube, fitness content. And then, I think I just pulled back, and realizing that obviously our physical health is important. It's very important, but to me, it's not the pinnacle of happiness, and it's not the pinnacle of life. And the intentions to why people do go to the gym, I mean, this isn't everyone. I'll just speak on my behalf, is usually the wrong intentions. And I felt like what I was giving out was good. You know, it was motivation, it was inspiration. It wasn't me. And I think the gym, it's a whole topic on its own, but it's really the intentions to why you are going to the gym, because for a lot of us, it is to fill a void of some sort in us, right? So that's what I was finding in my case. So I pulled back a bit and stopped going so intensely and stopped putting all my self-worth on how I look, and now I create more self-development.
So I mean, when you were going to the gym like 5-6 days a week, what kind of like stress and tension did that put on your body with the stature that you have, or was it just nothing?
It was stupid. I was literally like ruining my body.
Really?
Yeah. I am already, or have already, been prone to injuries of all sorts. My range of motion is completely skewed. Like a lot of my bones are kind of wacky, shit like that. So I was putting so much stress and so much pressure on so much, basically all of my joints every week, in and out,
stress,
day in, day out. And that really compounded in like a short period of time. And I was hit with so many different injuries.
Really?
But I just kept going to the gym.
Yeah.
And it actually put me in a state of like inflammation all the time. And I found when my body was inflamed, it would inflame my mind as well. And constantly, like, because they're both interrelated. They're just, so usually it's our minds that become inflamed, and then our body becomes inflamed. But it was the opposite for me. It was like my body was under so much pressure and so much stress that my mind then started to take a toll. Because I was just waking up every day in some form of pain, and I just wanted to train. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to get big, look good, feel good. And
but you weren't feeling good.
You
were putting so much stress on your body. Is that when you started to question, like, is this really what I
want to be doing?
What are we doing? Like, how often do you go to the gym now? Have you walked into a gym?
I actually cancelled my gym membership like 3 weeks ago.
180 flip.
When you were still into that kind of stuff, you were telling me about, I just got this new gym membership, blah, blah, blah. It was like such a big thing. But that's just the journey of life, right? It's just what you're supposed to be doing right now is different to what you were supposed to be doing last year.
It's ever changing.
And you're enjoying what you're doing right now, man. I would say like you're putting out some really inspirational content.
Thanks, man.
And people love seeing that, to see where you've come from and your different perspective, because your perspective from somebody else is vastly different. And that's why we wanted to have you on the podcast. 'Cause
Yeah.
not only are you a good friend of mine, and we coincidentally went to the same school as well. She didn't mention all of us. But
shout out Rosebank College,
yeah,
Tom Galea.
Yeah, that's it.
Shout out.
But yeah, like it's funny because Isaac and I never ever talked at school. I actually don't think I ever talked to him once, and we got in touch somehow after school. And like to see where he's come, because I obviously saw him when I was at school, right?
Yeah.
I've seen him grow and develop as a person as well, and it's just the journey of life, right? It's just like what you're supposed to be doing.
And I mean, like I would totally say like height 4'6", but just positive attitude and perspective on life 7'6".
You know how those girls in those bios have like height of 5 foot, but my attitude's 7 foot.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. Definitely.
Put him on the list, dude.
Yeah. And so,
appreciate you boys.
like coming out of that gym thing, saying like, "Oh, I'm always in pain. It's not working for me," and the toll that took on your body. Did that have any other effects on any other aspects of your life, like with family or relationships or at school, that might have changed from that?
In terms of like constantly being in pain,
like mentally and physically.
It definitely played out into just day-to-day living. It was pretty challenging because I was in pain. I couldn't do much. I was very restricted, and that's when my hips were really starting to go, and I could walk like 10 minutes, and then I was like in agony.
Really?
So it was like it was challenging because the physical pain then put my mind in pain as well, and then everything like your perspective on life and how life unfolds is really just a reflection of your own mind. So my mind was just really mainly in a bad state. So most of my life was reflected in that way as well. But I mean, I found ways. I found escapes. I found good company as well. Great support. So I wasn't alone. But to have then had 2 hip replacements last year, to be in the space where I am now, I realized how much I was struggling back then. Because you don't realize until you're out
of the struggle.
So
you're really glad you did those replacements.
So I think I've just had a lot of time to reflect on where I used to be and just be grateful for where I am now.
I mean, I'd love to pick your brain because I feel like everyone's been in situations, especially like with family, for example, where if you're having a shit day or something like that, you'd put the blame on family and your parents and your younger brother and take it out on them. Were there any moments during high school where it was kind of rough for you and your family going through it? Or was it just kind of all internal for you, and all your struggles were just inside of you? Because I know that I've definitely let beast and let hell out on my family for shit that wasn't their fault. You know what I'm saying? So I'd love to... It's
one of those things where people often will show that emotion around people who they trust. And in fact, it only makes the relationship more
stronger.
Detrimental. I mean, in my opinion, right? Because, I've been in situations where close members of family and friends have acted around me or even me to them. And it's not who you are, but you act around them that way because you trust them. And you know that they love you, right? So...
Or would you say they were your absolute biggest support through your whole experiences in high school? That's a pretty big question to unpack. It's
an interesting perspective where you're coming from, Roachy, because to have the people to be able to because I agree and I disagree.
Mm.
So I think there's two different ways of expressing emotion. I can't remember the first word. What is it? I think it's...
It all comes.
What's the word? Like, not purging, but like throwing stuff on someone. Like, there's a word for it. It starts with a V, I think.
Vomit.
Like bolting. I don't know. I'm just gonna say forcing.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the other way is, I've forgotten the other word. Far out.
One job.
Anyway, and the other way is I'm just gonna say naturally letting out an emotion.
Yeah.
But basically, I think I definitely found myself internalizing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I think just because, I mean, it all really depends as well on your upbringing and how emotion was expressed in your family.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because, some of my family internalizes a lot of stuff. Some of my family doesn't. It's just completely
straight out there.
Lets it out.
Yeah.
So, like, I disagree with both as well. Like, I disagree with vomiting and forcing emotion out onto people, but I disagree with internalizing it. There's like a fine balance, right? Coming home and then vomiting out like anger onto your younger brother or your parents, to then feel better about yourself is then putting that energy onto them. So they're actually absorbing your energy, and that just, that's, I personally don't think that's the way.
There's a way in which you can do it, I guess. I mean, we live in an age now where I feel like things are changing, and people are speaking up more, or at least promoting speaking up more about your problems and stuff. I know for you, Rowan, of personal experience, you know, you grew up in quite a macho environment where you internalized quite a lot, and you were just told to grow up like a man. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, like a lot of that comes with the sport side as well. I grew up playing a lot of sport, and the whole persona around sport is get up, she'll be right. Kind of that you'll be fine mentality. You don't need to show emotion kind of thing. And so over the years, I've just learned to internalize a lot of my problems.
But it's weird because, I mean, I find that, like, I struggle to cry, but when I cry, I feel fucking amazing.
That's the thing. And I mean, there's a massive stigma, especially with men and crying and letting out emotion. And I mean, that goes back 100 years, even 50 years ago, you know, like, men are the providers, the protectors. You're not meant to cry, not meant to show emotion to anyone. Like, so the stigma around that is still so prevalent and strong in today's society, I think. But the walls are breaking down for it, which I think is good.
I agree. I mean, I think that it's important that men can feel safe enough to say how they feel. I feel like there's a fine line in just saying how you feel. This is how this makes me feel. And taking the blame on someone. And being like, fuck you, this is your fault. Rather than just saying how you feel. Because there's, and point it out and say how you feel.
It also comes down to like the people that you surround yourself with. And because I know that I've surrounded myself with people and friends who I think are great friends, but I still wouldn't trust them enough to tell them how I feel. I don't know if you've had the same experience with you, but I've definitely gone through that.
Trust is huge. Is huge.
So like, were you able to trust your friends with telling them everything how you feel about girls or
was it
your
kind of
own
just
problems?
where you didn't really need to open up at all? You just kind of just were going along talking about FIFA and nothing else really fucking mattered.
I think I couldn't trust really anyone because I couldn't trust myself.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So I think I really didn't trust anyone because I couldn't trust myself. I couldn't even face how I was feeling. So how could I
put that on someone else?
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
how it's taken years of uncovering, peeling back these layers of programming and internalizing and these beliefs that have been so wrong that I'm still working on till this day. That a man can't be vulnerable, that I can't express my emotions, that I can't cry, that, not just me, just as you were saying just before, men in general. I mean, there's so many different paths that are now I want to take this conversation in.
Go.
But
smash it.
Yeah. The I think the thing, if we just look at men in terms of there's a fine balance, again, as you said, how men are looked at as protectors, right? We can be protectors, but we can also cry, right?
Yeah.
Like, women will find that attractive, a man that can cry, that can show the emotions, but can also hold a space of protection.
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, I'm not gonna just completely lose my masculine side and just cry and
at everything.
Yeah, at everything, dude. Like, so again, there's this balance, but I think as a society we are opening up to allowing it a lot more, and for it being normal. But again, here's another barrier is when we tell people how we feel, but sometimes the person that we do tell has their own shit that they're dealing with, and sometimes they're not in their space to take on what you have to say, and it's very, very hard for the other person to say, like, oh, hey, listen, I'm actually not in the space to hear what you're going through right now. That's like,
I mean, like, everyone wants to listen and help out your friends. So it's super tough to be like, oh, I've got my own shit going on, I can't listen or can't help. Because I know I love helping other people. And so for me, like, if I was to say, oh, I couldn't help you out or I couldn't listen, that would be quite challenging for me. I know that for a fact. But because I know you're a massive advocate for mental health and all these things that are happening in society. How do you think society is dealing with these awareness months and awareness for mental health? Because I know years ago, it was a disease in a way. Like, if you had depression or these things that are normal in society, you were seen as an outcast. So, like, how do you think it's changed during the years, do you think, to where we're living in now?
I think it's just been a collective thing, man. Like we see someone cry, so then we cry. Like, it's just a collective thing. Like, the more,
like a domino effect.
Yeah, bro. Like, the more that it's being pushed out
and
by certain people talking about it, certain organizations. Then it's like, oh shit. Well, they're going through the same shit I'm going through. It's okay to deal with it. And then I think the most powerful thing is when you start to open up to those who are close to you, right? Like, if you hear someone close to you talk about some shit that they're going through, I don't know, that makes you feel safe, and that gives you the space to then kind of do the same. But I mean, back to, like, how we need to be in our own space. Like, when I say, like, someone like saying no to hearing someone's problems.
Yeah.
It's not saying no all the time forever.
Yeah,
it's
no,
just
for sure.
like honoring people's space.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's so amazing that stuff like this is getting awareness. But I also feel like as well, we are getting a lot pushed onto us at the same time. Like,
what do you mean, like a lot pushed onto us?
like, I think it's we are hearing about so many people's stories and people coming out and about how they're feeling. But sometimes it's actually too much for us to take on as well.
Yeah.
So honoring your space is something which I feel like is now something that is really important in the society that we're going in, and holding, just stepping back and just being like, you know, I just need to process some of my own shit before I can hear yours. And that's just boundaries. Boundaries, I find for myself, is like the hardest thing ever. Coming from being a people pleaser myself, boundaries is something that I think is so important to have, especially in this day and age.
Being a people pleaser, man.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us have been there.
I think if you haven't been there,
don't you feel that depending on who you surround yourself with, I notice this especially, I'll kind of shape my character, my persona to kind of fit in with them. I consider that a form of people pleasing. Because if
100%.
Because if I don't know if I'm being true to myself. You know, I feel like as humans we have so many different like personas, but it's like, which one's the genuine you? Because depending on who we surround ourselves with, you know, our character changes. But in a way, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like right now, we're being serious, right? It doesn't mean we're serious people.
No.
Fucking half an hour ago, we were laughing about how
dwarf cocks,
dwarf cocks. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, but I mean more in the sense that people in Australia would kind of know. But if I was hanging around a group of eshays, I would act differently, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You become the person you hang out with, essentially. So if I go and hang out with a bunch of druggies and alcoholics,
I mean, not
for a prolonged period of time, then I'm going to fall into what they're doing, you know. But if I hang out with people who have a positive mindset, chase their goals, are driven, then I'm going to push myself to be...
Especially for younger people though, right? Because I'm sure a lot of people watching this podcast will be young. Yeah. And I want you all to be aware that the people you surround yourself with will make a profound impact on the person you are. Yeah. And I feel like it's really important to kind of delve into yourself and who you would like to be as a person, and surrounding yourself with people who are going to help you develop to the person that you know you are supposed to be.
And with that, I feel like I think you might think the same as me on this, but once you do find who you are, and it doesn't matter where you go in life, what job you go to, what friends you have, what new people you meet, if you can stick to yourself through all of those rocky paths, then you will be your happiest if you know this is you, and doesn't matter where you go or who you hang out with or new people you meet. If you know that's you and you stick with that on a straight road, then you'll be at your happiest, I think.
Yeah. It's such an interesting topic because I mean, it's sometimes we don't even know who we are. Yeah. Right?
That's the thing.
Sometimes we don't even know. Sometimes we have shut off our most authentic self, you know, since we were a child, right? Like since we were 4 or 3, you know, it goes really, really deep. So, I think there's such a good story that I heard. Like, it was about this guy who he gave his son like a piece of, I can't remember what it was, like some piece of treasure, some
like family token or something.
Let's just say it was a coin.
Okay.
Right? It was a coin. And he said, before he died, no, it wasn't before he died. He just gave him, no death involved in this. Anyway, I don't know why that. Anyway, so he gives him this coin, his son his coin, and he says, I want you to have this. it's worth a lot.
Yeah.
So son goes around and he goes to different places to try sell it. You know, first of all, he goes to a secondhand store.
Yeah, pawn shop.
Yep, and it's worth like $2. Then he goes to a pawn shop. It's worth $5.
Yeah.
And he was gutted. He was like, okay. He went to heaps of places, and it was just, you know, quite low value. It's, okay, I'm going to try this one more time. I'm just going to go to this museum, and I'm going to see how much it's worth. And lo and behold, it was worth a lot, like $5 million. They, you know, put it up in this frame. It was like this big thing. And this kind of relates to the people we surround ourselves with as well. Like, once we can tap into that authentic self, people are going to value us differently.
Yeah.
People are going to treat us like $2. People are going to treat us like $50. Some people are going to treat us like $5 million, right?
That's so
like
true.
we've all been around, like we value each other right now highly.
Yeah, very highly.
But if we were to go to a club or a bar or, you know, I don't know, some different environment, people aren't going to value us like that, right? Like you go to a bunch of eshays, you're like 5 cents.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm speaking down on eshays now. God,
This whole podcast.
it's totally fine to be an eshay if that's your path. They will value you a lot if you're in a group of eshays.
Yeah.
You are too. No, but I mean, I think the point is, like we can like devalue ourselves and feel like we can't be ourselves because we just have yet to be able to find the people who value us. And that's something that, I'm trying to get to a point of not trying to, of getting to a place of acceptance that not everybody is going to value me, right? Like not every group, not every person is going to value me.
Not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah,
it's impossible.
and that's such a hard pill to swallow, especially if we do deal with people pleasing strongly. So again, it's just a level of acceptance that like, hey, you know, I'm not valued here, and that's just where you step back and you just say like, hey, okay, sure. And we chase so hard, so much to be valued by certain people who are just never gonna change. But it's just our ego wanting to feel loved.
I mean, there's always going to be those people who want to drag you down to their level. Like, if you succeed, they want to bring you back down. There's always going to be those people, but I feel like the first step,
man.
Literally, like if you can identify that these people aren't working for me. If you can identify that they're not valuing you like you should be valued, and can remove yourself, that's the first step to self-awareness, I guess.
Yeah. You got to see
100%.
yourself as the main character, right?
Yeah.
You can't be beaten down by...
We are the main character in our own lives.
Yeah, we are, you know. And I feel like if you want to see yourself flourish, you know what path you're on. And you don't want to you got to do everything in your way to know what that value is.
Yeah.
You know, once you get in touch with that value, nothing's letting you down.
Well, I mean, like, I wish Sandra Bullock was a character in my movie life, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Sandra Bullock. How old is she now?
Bro, she is beautiful. That's a fact, bro.
She's got to be...
I'm the main character,
I know you
but...
still love Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston's
she's
cute
50
as
years
well.
old now as
Mate,
well.
She's beautiful.
She's never losing it. She'll be 80, and I'll just transfer my preference to old rich ladies. I'm serious, dude.
Her relationship was it Owen Wilson and her and Marley and me?
Yeah, I think so.
I watched that movie as a kid and made me cry.
Oh, wow. That's all I know from Owen Wilson, bro.
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber.
No, and he was
Dumb and Dumber.
He was Lightning McQueen as well.
Oh, he
He was Lightning McQueen. Yeah.
Who?
Owen
guy-
Wilson.
You know the guy with the blonde hair?
Yeah, the guy from Dumb and Dumber.
He was
What?
Lightning McQueen.
It's Lightning McQueen.
No way.
Yeah,
oh
Holy
my God.
fuck, it's been...
Realizations. My whole childhood's changed.
You're doing a fact check
Yeah, that's a fact check.
out. Yeah, I swear.
I've
so
been
sure.
hit with the biggest wave of
That
nostalgia
movie
from
is...
that.
I want you guys all to comment or whatever. If you're on Spotify, you obviously can't. If you're watching this on YouTube, comment down your favorite Pixar movie, something like that.
Oh my God.
I mean, my
Lightning
favorite
McQueen.
movie was Cars, 100%.
It was Cars.
Yeah. Dude.
Really?
Monsters
Okay.
Inc. was up there as well.
Oh,
I did like Monsters Inc.
dude.
They're making another one, I think.
You can't. No, but you can't. No.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah,
Dude.
They
Like
did
you-
University, which I only fucking watched like a few months ago. I was like, what the fuck? That's an actual thing. And now it's like they've took over the company or some
Really?
shit.
Damn.
How was that University?
It was actually good, but
Okay.
it wasn't as good as the original.
Yeah, I just like
Yeah.
if Nemo was to come out with another movie like that,
Yeah.
that would you just. Oh, they did though. They did Dory,
Dory.
but it wasn't
actually,
Nemo.
I listened to this podcast a while ago, and there's this like theory about Finding Nemo. I don't know if you guys have heard
I
about
haven't
it,
seen
right?
Finding Nemo since a child.
So
Yeah,
the basis of the film is that Nemo didn't exist, but the father's what was the dad's name? What was Nemo's dad's name?
I'm trying to picture Nemo screaming out
Nemo,
his name.
the big fuck off Bruce.
Yeah.
The massive shark.
Bruce.
But
Who did do the best Bruce accent?
yeah, literally.
I feel like you already partially have it.
But anyway, so this theory pretty much says that after Nemo's dad had that incident with the fish where it ate all of the babies, he turned a bit insane, and that Nemo is actually, in Latin, Nemo means nothing. So the movie says finding nothing, right?
Ooh.
And so when he meets Dory, right? Dory's got short-term memory loss, right? So he's chasing his son that died. But when he meets Dory has short-term memory loss. So that's why she's always like, who are we chasing? And he's saying Nemo. And so she thinks they keep finding Nemo, but it's actually finding nothing.
That's crazy.
Damn.
It was like,
That's deep.
I listened to it, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Damn.
it was so crazy that
Yeah.
he's just chasing his imagination, and Dory's following along with him because she doesn't remember at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, bro.
Insane.
Childhood movies.
Oh, dude.
Man.
This is what the people come here for, dude. It's those
Damn
theories
straight.
to have their mind
But you know what,
opened.
though?
Just
People would have
Oh
grown
my-
up with this shit, man.
favorite Pixar or Disney movie
I
from
said
your
Cars.
childhood?
I said Cars.
So yeah, you said Cars.
Yeah, what do you think?
honestly, Finding Nemo.
Finding Nothing.
Yeah. Now I don't want to rewatch it because I'm just gonna be saddened
bittersweet.
by that.
Yeah.
Literally.
It might not. Yeah. Or Monster. I mean, I feel like it's just because we've
You know what came out
mentioned
before we were
it
born?
now
Yeah.
that it's on my
Yeah,
mind, but
yeah.
definitely Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo probably hits the deepest.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree with Pat. Cars was my favorite as a kid.
Cars was,
Life is a Highway.
But you know what? I feel like these stories, or should I say movies, actually have
Deeper
morals,
meaning.
deeper meanings.
Oh
to
yeah.
it. Like Cars, when the fucking Chris Hick or whatever drives past and the blue dude, the dynamo dude,
Yeah.
fucking, and he helps him across the line.
Exactly.
That's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
That's poetic, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
This is a kids movie.
Yeah. Oh, a kids movie
Yeah.
is never a kids movie. Like
Yeah.
it's
I
dude.
recently watched back Avatar: The Last Airbender, and
Avatar.
and that fucking had like deeper meaning as well and shit.
Really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like,
kind
I
of
love-
because I mean,
yeah.
like once we do have these experiences and episodes in our life, when we look back, like watching a movie is so different. Like I'll take a movie I watched as a child and then watch it again now, and I'll think about it completely
You gotta
differently.
think, like, the person writing it's an adult.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Not
Yep.
a 6-year-old kid.
Yeah,
Yep.
They're writing it for a deeper meaning.
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, that's its niche.
If you want to watch any Disney movie, watch Soul. Have you seen Soul?
Soul.
Fuck, is that the one
Watch
with the dog?
Soul.
Is that-
No,
no.
it's dude. Anyone watching right now, just if you take anything away from this
I remember
podcast,
hearing-
please
Is that
please
kinda
watch.
recent?
It's recent.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the meaning behind it is incredible. It's such a good movie.
Is that the one? It says here it's about the jazz pianist who has a near-death experience.
Yep, that's the one.
And gets stuck in the afterlife.
Yep, that's
Contemplating his choices and regretting the existence that he mostly took for granted.
And
it's such
It's a kids movie.
Shit.
Disney are spiritually evolving. I'm telling you, dude. Like man, just watch it.
Did you hear about like Walt Disney was an actual cunt though? Like he was
Really?
he was genuinely a bad person apparently.
Really?
I mean, as in like his morals were bad. Like I mean, don't be wrong,
He did bits. He did absolute bits.
bro. But apparently, like he was an actual like
really
misogynist, like blah blah blah. Different time period. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
that's
still,
right, yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
I mean, look where it is now, right?
Exactly.
Let's be grateful for Disney in that way.
It's funny, like so many successful creatives have kind of been fucked up people.
Yeah.
Like
Picasso.
Yeah. Apparently he was fucked up, like really top, world-changing creative people.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like have had
even actors
fucked up personal lives.
Talk about Robin Williams and stuff, you know.
Yeah, man.
I mean, the list is huge, but it like just goes to show like sometimes getting to such a high level requires just ridiculous amount of.
I feel like that's where you need to be so content with yourself.
Yeah,
to be able to have an amazing, successful career like Jim Carrey or Robin Williams. You know, they put us on this facade, and they were incredible actors in all these amazing movies, Mrs. Doubtfire, all these amazing movies, right?
Yeah.
And then outside of that, chronic depression, they'd go to alcohol and drugs.
There's got to be a point where all these external things mean nothing. There's got to be. It's got to be like money and like whatever.
Yeah.
There's got to be a point where you have to just be content with who you are, right?
Yeah.
And only you can do that.
Yeah, and I mean Tyson Fury, he said it beautifully that we're like when we die, we take nothing from this earth with us. Mm-hmm. Absolutely nothing. The only thing that we're going to take with us and other people are going to remember is legacy. That's the only thing that's going to matter, is how you impact people and what they think you're at the end of your life. Because you're not going to say if you make $10 million like Floyd Mayweather.
I agree in one way, but I also think that the most important thing is if when we all eventually pass, I just wanted to be happy with what I did and that I was true to myself. All those other things that how I impacted other people were secondary. I mean, I feel like if I'm who I am, if I'm who I truly am, I'm naturally going to impact other people. Surely.
Yeah. Because like with me, my goal for my life is, doesn't matter like who I impact. When I die, if I impacted one person at this one moment and they can remember that and say, Rowan did a good thing for me. Yeah. I'll remember that. That's the impact I want to leave on people. Yeah. Even with you, like the first day of math class, I remember you came in and I talked to you for the first time.
I joined school and like the school, obviously you was year 8. So year 8. It was, you guys had already started. Ron was the first kid who went up to me. And that stuck.
And say if I was the first person to talk to you and then never talk to you again. Yeah. That first moment still meant something to you.
It's still 100%.
Exactly right.
And
so that's the impact and legacy I want to have, and I want people to remember me for, my life for. For sure. And I don't know. What about you?
I think watch Soul, like literally. But legacy, it's an interesting one because like we can get attached to that as well. Everyone's legacy is eventually gonna fade.
Yeah.
Everyone's like dudes from BC who were probably like kings and amazing people. Like we don't talk about them. We don't know. We don't legacy will fade. Legacy is important as well, but inevitably is gonna fade. Like our life, like everything is gonna fade.
Yeah.
So you both bring up important points, and I think there is like, dude, I'm sure you've already impacted more than one person's life.
I hope so.
Like, I don't doubt that you have not done that.
Yeah,
but I think, like, we can only truly, really impact people's lives until we have gotten to our own state of what you, I guess, desire is to have the most fulfilling and happy life for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Once we're in that state, then people around us will naturally just be impacted by us.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's something that's been on my mind a lot is death, and I've just been thinking a lot about it, and it's such a fascinating topic, because like, I mean, everybody has their own beliefs, everybody has their own opinions, but really, you know, to me, I think, like, what is the point? Like, what is the point of life, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean, it's such a deep and complicated question that
is.
I don't think the human brain can actually comprehend what the meaning of life is.
But I think
unless it comes personally, like, what is the meaning of my life compared to what is the meaning of life? I think they're two completely different questions.
That's well put.
Yeah.
But I think it can also be so simple as well. Like, we can try wrap our head around so many different theories, so many different beliefs, but really, at the end of the day, we're all just one infinite.
We are humanity.
We are just one infinite thing. We're just beings. We're spiritual beings having short-term human experiences.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can call this a dream, you can call this a game, you can call this life, you can call it whatever. But at the end of the day, we're all coming, like, we're going to lose our human bodies eventually, right? Something that we are so attached to, right?
Literally.
So yeah, literally. But I think what is beyond that makes me curious, and the I guess the point, I'll just share my belief. Sometimes, I mean, it ebbs and flows with what the meaning of life is, but sometimes the simplest thing is the meaning of life is life, right? Like, it's just to live.
Yeah.
It's just an experience that we've been gifted, and it's just to live, right?
Yeah.
It's
and I
not,
mean, like, that's why I think it's so hard to see a lot of the things that are happening around the world, like, say, the things in Palestine and Israel that are happening at the moment, and the racism and stuff that's happened in America over the last 100 years, right? It's just, it all comes back to that we are one people.
Yeah.
We are the human race. We are humanity.
And the odds of us just being here.
And the odds of us being on Earth and being... It tripped me out the other day, right? I had this thought.
Yeah.
And I just sat back and I was like, wow, the odds of us being on the third planet away from the sun that's perfectly inhabitable. If we were one close, it'd be too hot. One further back, it'd be too cold. It's being the perfect planet in the middle where we can sustain life, sustain nature, sustain ourselves.
Being put into that, not having to actually do anything. Literally just being put into a world where, I mean, the first 5 years, everything's just given to you.
Yeah.
Get fed for you, like, you don't have to do fucking anything. We're just put into this world,
like,
looked after.
Like if you really think about it, it's just so insane, and the odds I couldn't even comprehend
Yeah,
what
you
they
can't.
are.
Yeah.
For
But
us to
what
be,
essentially where we're going back to is that as humans, we should all just be here for each other and love each other.
Exactly.
Despite everybody's always going to believe different things, right? And there's no disrespect behind that.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
feel like
we're all humans. We all shit and piss, right?
Yeah.
It's fucking true though, eh?
We all have an asshole.
we all, at the end of the day,
Them aliens don't.
black,
Only breeding in different ways.
like black, white, orange, yellow, brown, whatever. We all bleed red. At the end, we all bleed red, and it's so hard to kind of see the amount of hatred that there is in this world. When at the end of the day, our lifespan is 80 years in a 4 billion year.
Yeah, I mean that's why we run.
We're
Yeah,
a speck.
yeah.
We're a speck.
You know what I'm saying? It's like so hard to, even in the past with the Holocaust, 6 million Jews. That's a lot of, and that still has impacts on their culture and their population. Still to this day, seeing how historical and cultural significance of people's land, the Aboriginals in Australia, the Israel and Palestinians in the Middle East. At the end of the day, we only 80 to 90 years of our existence is on Earth, and then it's nothing. You know, that's why I think it's so hard to see, and everywhere it's just portrayed as negative news, negative this, negative this, negative this, all over the world. You know, and it's just kind of, it's a very tough world to live in when everything around us is negative. That taking those positives in your own life or seeing those are just amazing to see.
Yeah,
Totally. That's deep shit.
Fuck, that got
I
deep.
think it's what you it's what we absorb as well. Like I think it's so important to know what is going on.
Yeah.
But then there's a time and there's a place where we have to pull back. Like, because what we are portrayed is, it is mainly negative. Yeah. But we aren't shown what is positive. We aren't shown the beauty and the blissfulness of life and the amazing things that are going on, right? And the only thing we can do is love ourselves, is to feel love for others around us. Like, love can never be found externally through watching the news to feel love, right? Like, love is the highest frequency, right? It's like the highest vibration, because everything is energy, right? So when we can vibrate our energy, our being on love, it lifts things around you, right? That's why we feel so good when we walk through nature, because their vibration is just pure. It's just love. They don't have trauma. They don't have.
They're not trying
negative
to hurt
news.
you.
They're not like. They're just pure love. So I think it's so important to just like. I don't know if people understand how vital and how important it is to just feel love, right? Because it lifts everything. It like a smile. Like, you know, it starts with a smile. Like, you smile at a stranger,
they'll smile back.
Yeah, and that smile will go around the world, and it'll reach someone in Palestine, dude. You know, like, it's everything is collective. Everything spreads, and it's just you talking about that brings up that what I've just said for me, just how important it is to love, just feel love, right? Because it will impact the world.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's why I feel like people such as like David Attenborough are appreciated and loved so much, because all he's doing is showing how beautiful the world is, how beautiful the place we live in, and how he just sits back and commentates, but you're so intrigued because it goes back to, like you said, those energy, the purest forms of nature and our being that we're just drawn to, you know?
Dude, people don't visit nature enough.
No way.
Isaac and I, like, we went for a nature walk a couple weeks ago. Very eventful.
Here we go.
We'll discuss it. But anyway, yeah, we went to this place and like just beautiful, man. Like we got some photos there. I popped it on my Instagram. It's fucking amazing, man. And not just for what you see, the beauty of it, but the way how it makes you feel. I think is second to none.
Like even just sitting down, like I love doing this down at my nan's farm. No light pollution at all. I'll go outside and just lie down in the middle of the outback and just look up at the stars. And like it's so strange to think no pollution, no nothing, but you're there and you just completely zone out. Nothing else matters in your life but the stars in the sky or the sunset at the beach or the trees that you're walking through, you know?
Yeah, it's those moments where time stops. And I talked to Isaac about this before I go back into what I was talking about before about going on a walk. But humans are so obsessed with time, man. We're always thinking about like what we're gonna have to do next. We're not actually appreciating the moment for what it is, I feel. And
even in the moment, it's all
exactly. You know what I mean? Yeah, a lot of people live life through the
fireworks up here. Oh, like gun club and blah blah blah. I'm living life through a lens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not actually appreciating the moment. 100%, man. And going like to the farm or going for a walk. Just being there at the moment where nothing else matters is, my opinion, one of the most beautiful and gifted to us for free.
Until you get lost.
Until you get lost. Because we were going on a walk, right? And it's quite a large walk.
We'll start it.
I'll start. Anyway, I slept in that day a shit ton. And we were like, all right, we're still going to go through with the walk. So it's out, about a 45-minute drive from Sydney. We go out there. And we start the walk at about 2:30. Bear in mind, it's winter here in Australia now, so it does get dark quite early. But we weren't thinking about that. We were not
living in the moment.
Even in the moment, we were living in the moment. We were not obsessed with time.
We were the trees, man. We were just we were the trees. We were the
baby trees.
Mate, we were the leaves. We were the ground. We were just fully immersed in nature. We were like nature, man. We were just flowing. We were flowing. Literally. We had no conception of time.
Literally.
Until
it got to the point where like around us was just fucking dark, and we're like, and we actually need to figure out a way out. So there were no really distinct, obvious signs saying this is the way out. So we were kind of relying on our own instinct. I chose to go one way. There was a left and a right.
Well, if we take it back just a little bit, as it started to get dark, and as some form of fear and anxiety started to kick in, we're like, okay, we need to speed it up. So we didn't think of turning back. So this track, if anyone's gone on a bushwalk, you usually just follow the bushwalk until it takes you out. You don't usually turn around unless you hit a dead end or something like that, exactly. Right? Yeah. So we're doing this walk and I think it did pop into our minds to perhaps turn back, but we're like, fuck it, let's just keep going. But this bushwalk that we were on had so many paths, so many different routes to take. And, bushwalking, it's so important to bring a map and to know the walk that you're going to go on, which we didn't do. And I'm grateful we're fucking here alive to know this. Not like we would have,
I've been doing this podcast by myself. Talking to myself.
Just been doing Bruce accent stuff.
My split personality.
And then we started to speed. I love how we were speed walking, but we must have made every wrong turn.
Literally.
And it was just Mother Nature I don't know. She had a lesson for us.
Yeah,
we were being taken in every wrong direction.
100%. We definitely thought we were going the right way though. At one point, we were like considering turning back and going the way we originally went. Yeah. We're like, nah, fuck it. Eventually, we start going upright because like the way how this nature reserves like set out is that kind of like you go down in towards like the actual, I don't know what it's called, just nature.
Into the nature.
Anyway, we had to go back up. Civilization was like 20 meters above us.
Yeah.
So like we start to walk up this like hill, and we're like, okay, this is it. This is the way. It's like 5 o'clock by this time, so it's practically pitch black. Isaac and I see a house, and we literally start celebrating, hugging each other. We're like, fuck yes, we found the way.
We come out of like we were in a very narrow, deep part of the forest, and we're engulfed in leaves and bushes, and getting smacked in the head by by branches. Whoever's. And webs and shit, and then
Zootopia or some shit.
Yeah, literally. And then we came to that I think it was the opening as well that made us really excited.
Yeah, we were very enclosed. Yeah,
and we saw we were hearing cars the whole time.
Yeah.
But we felt like we were coming closer and closer to this highway, this street, road, whatever it was. And then we come to this opening, and we're celebrating and hugging each other, and
it was the
pure ecstasy. And
it was the M2, dude.
Yeah,
it was the fucking motorway.
Yeah, it was the motorway.
The bushwalk next to the highway.
Literally. We were like fucking we found it. The fucking M2, dude. Like literally right there. There's a house there. Fucking civilization. 20 meters.
Epic.
4-meter fence. M2. Even if I jumped over the fence, what am I gonna do? Run in
across
between 100 crossy road to the
I was literally thinking crossy roads, dude. Like fuck, man. All those hours on crossroads, dude. It would have paid off if we did try, I reckon.
Anyway, it got to the point where we kept trying to walk, but we realized we were going back down, and we're like, fuck it, we're calling the police.
Yeah.
So the coppers came and like saved us at like probably 6:30.
But I mean, like that's the thing.
And
like,
you fucking learn your lesson, but it was weird because I'm quite an anxious person a lot of the time. I never felt fucking anxious in that moment. It was so weird.
But I mean, like they're like the experiences. As weird and anxious as it is in the moment, you look back and it's like, I'll always remember that. I remember that moment.
Sick, dude.
100%. It actually, honestly, it was a very close to life-changing experience, because I literally have never been in a train station after that and been so grateful to be in a fucking train station.
Crazy to think we get an Uber back to Parramatta train station. Yeah. And we're like literally like I bear in mind I'd water, but I didn't eat for 10 hours. So I mean, dude, respect to all my Muslims out there who do Ramadan, man, because that shit's fucking hard. Yeah, like I could not water fast all day, man. We probably walked over 10 kilometers as well that day as well.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy.
that fucking nut bar that I got after, and that Pana organic chocolate that I got, dude, I think I fucking entered a state of just euphoria.
Mate,
it's crazy. We got to be grateful for like being in a house and stuff like that. But then again, I do encourage you guys to get outside. But if you are visiting a place, know where you're going.
Like at the end of the day, like our life is just an accumulation of experiences. And the different experiences you have shape the person that you're going to become. And I was saying this to Pat earlier while we were at lunch earlier today. I was like, I wonder what my younger self would think of who I am now and the things that I've gone through and the perspective I have in life now. Yeah, for sure. And I was kind of like, it kind of set me back a little bit. I was like, like from the little kid I was, this fat little chubby ranger, to I wonder what he would think of who I am now and who I'm going to become in the future. Because we're ever changing. I'll be different next year and the year after, next week. Just because of those different experiences.
I'm sure you can speak that for that. As well, man.
You know. Experiences is experience is knowledge. Experience is life, dude. Experiences is everything, man. It's everything.
Because I mean, like, if you and I, if we went to like an art museum, we looked at the same picture, we would see it completely differently. Because you have this experience, you have everyone at home music, has.
The way how we interpret music, a song that I listen to might mean something completely different to me than it does to you.
Yeah, man.
And even the way how the artist may have written the song means something to them differently than it does to me. Yeah, I know. Interesting concept for sure. Yeah, man. But see the way how like you've developed over time, man. It's fucking it's really inspiring.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
like,
man.
I really, before we end the podcast, I just want to shout out Isaac. We're obviously going to leave his links in the description and everything. But I cannot encourage you more to go check out his content, because the stuff that he makes is so compelling and so inspiring. Yeah, dude. It's fucking awesome to see where you're doing.
Thanks, brother.
And
I appreciate that.
But before we end the podcast, what's one piece of advice through all your experiences and all your ups and downs and obstacles that you would give to everyone listening at home if they were to take one thing from this podcast? What would you say to everybody at home?
We always try to end the podcast with this. Well, it's going to be our aim.
Yeah.
But it's obviously something you have to. We understand. You have to think about. But
listen, my answer will forever be different in every moment in my life. But right now, live in the moment. Live in the moment, because life is a moment. It's just one moment. This is just, once you be the moment, once you feel into this moment, life is amazing. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Live in the moment. Live in the moment. That's
so
it.
sick.
Isaac, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast, man.
Thanks so much.
Thanks
boys.
so much for being here and just opening up about your story and life and your experience. It's been amazing. I hope everyone else has enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, this should be the
as
first
much as
podcast
we
you
have.
guys are seeing on Taking It Easy. So welcome to the podcast, guys. What a fucking person to have. What a way to kick it off.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. But yeah, we'll be back. Obviously, we're going to try to do it weekly. So we're uploading this on Sunday, which we should be doing. We'll see you guys next Sunday, and we'll occasionally do a midweek episode as well. But Isaac, absolute pleasure having you on the podcast,
man.
Sure, we'd love to see you all on another one down the line. And
100%.
Yeah,
that's
man.
it, guys.
Thank you, boys, so much.
You,
yeah.
Thanks, Isaac.
Thank you, boys.
Bro.
It's been amazing.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care and peace.
Take care, guys. Peace.
Peace.
Bye now.